During this exercise, we'd like to take a look at the channel tool within PowerCivil Modeler. In our training guide, we're going to start on page 140 and we'll finish on page 142. The channel wizard, if you will, is a tool that kind of steps us through the process of creating a channel. We have a channel tool, we have a pad tool, and we have a pond tool, and they all function rather similar. They have a dialog similar to the one I've shown here in the manual that has a picture on one side and then a set of steps, and we'll just step you through using next and back buttons to create some sort of object, whether it's a channel, a pond, or a pad, or a set of pads. So we're going to focus on the channel tool for this course, but other tools work the same. So in PowerCivil, in our design file, SitePlan 2D, we're in our model, or inside our project called SitePlan 2D GSF, and our model tower. I'm going to go over to the pond on the left-hand side of the parking lot, and I'm going to strike an alignment just using the Smart Line tool within PowerCivil. And I'm going to place an element that comes down into the low point here, basically. And we'll say that's the alignment of our channel. Now that I have that, that's my starting point, then I'll go to Modeler, Tools, Channel Design. So you can see pad design, pond design, channel design. When the wizard pops up, it'll show you that you're going to go through a series of steps. You're going to define a name for this channel. You're going to define the element, the centerline element that is, and then define the rest of the channel. Side slopes and stuff like that. Widths, and bottom widths and stuff like that. So I'm going to go next. We'll create a new object for this channel. Call it channel type, channel 1. Next, that'll bring me to defining the element, and that's this graphic that we drew. How do we want to define that? And what we'll do is we'll just drape this down on the model, but we'll only pick up elevation at the vertices. And we'll lower those elevations by -2 feet, let's say. Then I'm going to select the element that is that element we're going to define. That'll be the center line. So basically it's only going to get elevation at this end, that end, and there. It'll be a linear transition between those vertices. Now I select it and then I click Next. And here is where I kind of define the pond bottom, the depth of the pond, the side slopes inside, a berm if I want, and then the exterior slopes. So the bottom, what do I want the bottom to be? I'll have it at a fixed depth. I could apply a section here, and that could be just like we did the sections earlier. But I'll do a fixed width of 3 and a slope of 1%. So what's going to happen is it's going to copy parallel 1.5 feet either side of my center line, and it's going to have a 1% slope, so a little bit of a V-shaped slope there at the bottom. When it gets to the 1.5 foot point, it's going to draw a graphic, so I'll just double click on that and set the symbology. So we'll say design ditch, let's say bottom. The depth of the ditch is going to be 2. Side slopes for my channel will be 2 to 1. So those are the interior or the yellow graphic there. And then of course the symbology, when we come up 2 to 1 for 2 feet, we're going to place a graphic there. And then what does that element need to be? I'll just say that's my ditch top. Everything else by level. Do I want a berm? And then how wide does that berm need to be? I'll say, yeah, 2 feet wide. And the symbology, I'll say, again, that'll be the top. Okay. Actually, I'll change the color, and that way you can see that it'll be a different element. And then my exterior slopes, I'll leave those at 3 to 1. And they tie back to the model. So at this point, that defines my my cross section. So I'll hit finish. It'll go out there and create the channel. And if I zoom in, I can see the different elements. So it's got started at the center line, created the bottom, sloped up for 2 feet to the yellow, then it went out 2 feet for the edge of the berm, and then of course back down to the model. I could cut a section through there real quick. And that's what it looks like through cross section. And now if I want to modify it, they're just site elements, and I can treat them as any other site element and make modifications appropriately.